he's not only a very good player, but he's a very good person, knows the game. And good morning, Gary. How you doing?
Hey, Coach. Good morning to you.
Barry and I want to ask you several things. The nerves, the anxiety, the preparation. Talk about that to our listeners.
Well, as a quarterback, you better be prepared, especially this day and time with the defense is going to be throwing all kinds of things at this young Bo Nix. He's got to be ready. And based on what I've seen on TV, Coach Malzahn has put him and the other guy through some rigid tests to see who was ready. And it looks though as Malzahn appears to have picked Bo and is the best chance to win this year. So he must be a mature kid that handles pressure really well.
Your situation when you, I know with Coach Bryant looking over your shoulder, and talk a little bit about your thoughts when you did it.
That's exactly what it was. Coach Bryant was looking over our shoulder. I mean, I could tell walking into the huddle if he was standing behind me or up in the tower. The lineman's eyes were just light up big time, and I knew he was behind me. But, yeah, he put a lot of pressure on you, and it was the old thing, you play like you practice, and if you practice good, you're going to play good. And he put that kind of pressure on us in practice to respond, and I'm sure this seems to be what Malzahn has done. And it, as I said, this day and age, you better be ready. These kids are mature. I think Bo Nix has come through some pressure situations in high school, winning 2 state championships, got a dad that played there and played quarterback. So I think this kid is more mature than most, and he'll be thrown into the fire real early against Oregon.
We're talking with Gary Rutledge. Gary, with Tua, had a great year last year. I've talked about this with other guests. There's 15 games of film on him now, plus he's the Heisman maybe leading candidate to win it. So that really is going to gear up defenses to come after this guy. How important it is for this offensive line to protect him. And, these defensive coordinators have probably spent all summer trying to pick out any kind of weakness that they could exploit with this kid. Will this be a little bit tougher year now that they have so much film on him for him to go against these defenses?
I think you're right. I think they will have a little more knowledge of what he can and can't do, his best things he does, the worst things he does, and he doesn't do too many things bad, but he's going to be tested as well, even more so this year. He's going to have to forget about the success he had last year and move forward. The offensive line is very important to Tua. Tua's not the mobility guy that Jalen Hurts was, but he's still very mobile. But he's excellent at reading defenses, and Coach Saban will have him ready too. It's just I just can't imagine playing quarterback this day and age with all the pressure, not only in the games but TV, talk radio, ESPN. They're all on TV. It's kind of funny. Back when I played, all I remember is a newspaper guy standing in front of me with a pad and a pencil in his hand. I never was interviewed on TV. Never was interviewed for radio, I don't believe. It was just a different situation. Now it's just pressure from all sides. It's funny.
Sure. Who
was your offensive coordinator?
Jimmy Sharp, my sophomore and junior year, and then Bud Moore, my senior year.
Okay. Did they change as you went through the season? Did they pretty much had to please Coach Bryant before they ever came to you, right?
Yes, I think so. Yes, sir.
And did they do a lot of changing as the season went along?
Not really. It was based on the defense the opposing team played. Running the wishbone, it depended on that. We knew how to attack every defense, and every defense was attacking us because it was a kind of a new offense in the 70s. And so we prepared really well against what they would do. And we would change the play at the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure that they do that this day and age. If you watch how the play comes in and the amount of time left, I don't see Tua changing a lot. He might, but we did it a lot because they would stack defenses against us on one side or the other to prevent the run. So it's a little different today than it was when I played.
Well, I heard Pat Dye, but I was with Pat Dye and Gene Stallings for about 4 days about a month ago, and it wore me out with football. But
I bet.
Yeah. Pat said that, a lot of the stuff that they did, they actually, when Darryl Royal came to the coaching clinic, they got the Holiday Inn and sort of learned the wishbone and so forth, and sort of taught it to each other and ran it. So it was really pretty difficult for you because it was brand new to them. It was brand new to them as well.
Yes, we went over it and over it. We had a drill all day long at almost every practice. We did the mesh drill, we called it, where you read Coach Malmore was the quarterback coach, and we would just run where the quarterback and the fullback would do where they ride it up into the line of scrimmage, because the fullback didn't know whether he was going to get it or not if we ran the true wishbone. So he had to have a light pocket, and I had to leave it in there or snap it out of there real quick and go on down the line of scrimmage and pitch or keep. So the wishbone was more technical as far as the handling of the ball, but today it's more technical with the passing of the ball. So we didn't even block two guys on the line of scrimmage because the quarterback would eliminate one with the dive and the quarterback would eliminate the next one with the pitch. So it's totally different now, but these quarterbacks today are very smart and are well schooled with their offensive coordinators.
Well, you were too, Barry.
Gary, can it be tough for brothers who are quarterbacks to go to the same schools? I know Jeff came on after you. You looked at Peyton and Eli. Eli said, I think I want to go somewhere else. Tulia decided to come here with Tua. Now I think he'll be compared to everything that Tua did with that same last name. I guess every situation is different. Just talk about that situation.
Yeah, that is interesting. Jeff and I were 4.5 years apart, so we never were at Alabama together. But the Tua and his brother are closer together, but they're not going to compete. Everybody figures that Tua will go pro after this year, and so they won't actually really compete against each other. But still, they've got to be pulling for each other. They've got to work together and be for each other, not pulling against each other. As a quarterback, you to be honest, you pull against the guy you're competing against because you want to play.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody ever says that, but
right.
you want to play, but you don't want to wish really bad things on him. But they're going to get along fine, and Tua will play this year and do really well. And according really to how he does as to whether he'll jump into the pros or not.
Yeah, will that add pressure to Tulia since Tua is so good? They'll always compare him to his brother. There's enough pressure playing quarterback at Alabama. Will that be a tough thing to handle?
It might be. It's according to his personality and how he is. I know it didn't bother my brother. I did pretty decently, I guess. And Jeff he was a great player at Alabama and then played pro ball for 14 years. So maybe Talia will be the same way and not be affected by the success his brother has.
Yep.
Well, something else I wanted to ask you, and I can't think of what it was. It's important to me, too. Okay, I know. Gus has decided, go ahead, as we talk about, one of the reasons I wanted you on, to select Bo. And his comment was that his team felt like they needed to know. If I was a coach, I wouldn't tell who the quarterback was going to be. I wouldn't. I don't think. In his mind, I was interested to hear him say that he felt like the Auburn football team needed to know. Is comment on that?
Well, I would think they probably do need to know, really, but
okay.
It's the thing, kind of like when we went to the wishbone. Coach Bryant told us not to tell anybody. I mean, Coach Malzahn could have done it that way and said, "Guys, Bo's our guy, but we're not going to tell him. Don't tell the press. Don't tell your parents. Don't tell anybody." He could have done it that way, but he elected to go public with it. But I do agree with Coach Malzahn that the team needed to go ahead and know and put their confidence into this kid. But it really, to me, I don't think Bo's going to just completely play the whole game. I would think you put that other quarterback in at some point in time, but Bo will probably play most of the plays. But it's just, I think the kids need to know just to have confidence and throw their support behind Bo or whoever the quarterback would have been at that time.
I think it's a great new rule that you can play 4 games and still keep your red shirt. I think that's one of the better rules that the coaches have come up with, don't you?
I do too. I think that's great. Yeah, four games and you can still be redshirted. I like that a lot. Yes, sir.
Yeah, very.
What are some similarities between Coach Bryant and Coach Saban?
Wow, that's a great question. They're both hard nosed. They were both play like you practice. If you don't practice good, you're not going to play well in a game. They put pressure on the players during practice. He puts pressure on his coaches. Coach Bryant, I thought the coaches were as afraid of him as we were. And I just think they're similar. They want to win. Their desires, their goal is the national championship every year. I just like the way Coach Saban does it, and to do it in this day and time with all of the fewer scholarships offered, better colleges out there probably that are good football schools, better coaches. The way Saban's doing it is remarkable to me, and it was for Coach Bryant too. But this day and age, it's even better. So they're very similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you mentioned the scholarship limitations. Now I think they can have 85. They have several walk-ons. But how many were on y'all's team when y'all were playing? Y'all had well over 100, right, on scholarship?
Yeah, we did. I think we signed 30, 35 my year in 1970. So. Yeah, there's a lot more players. Coach Bryant, I think, would sign players just to keep Auburn from getting them.
Right.
Yeah, he would.
The in-state players. So we had a lot of players. I mean, of the 30 or so that we signed, I think we only had like 14 or so left at the end of the 4 or 5 years that we were there. So a lot of them just left and quit and whatever. But the ones that stayed, we won a national championship in '73, so that was great.
They go back to the dorm to brush their teeth. The first thing you know, they go over and try to find them. They'd be gone, wouldn't they?
That's true. That's exactly right. You know where they were. I mean, it was tough. I sometimes wonder how I made it through that stuff.
Yeah, sometimes they're offensive linemen. You need them to stay around.
I know it. I mean, they'd go back over to the dorm and drink sweet tea till you can, they lose 10 pounds of body fluid, just from the sweat we did, and then they go back over and just drink that Miss Pretty sweet tea over there.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you going to games now? You watch them on television? What's your procedure now?
I'm going to 2 this year. I used to go to all of them at Tuscaloosa, Coach, but high definition television spoiled me rotten, Yeah. But I went for 20, 25 years to every game, and now I'm a little older, and so I just stay at home. Got Sunday school. We have parties, and we go to watch the games at their houses. So I'll be at 2 this year. I'm going to New Mexico State and to Arkansas.
Well, I appreciate you being on. You're a great one, and I enjoyed. It's been a long time. So,
well, Coach, I appreciate our friendship, too. Thank you so much for having me on.
Okay, thank you for being on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, Coach.